Hey everyone, what's up? This is Blaze. Welcome to what I'm calling my Polaris preparation video, and it's going to be on my Storm because that is the character that I will be leveling up through the entire test realm, at least my first run of it, basically the speed run where we basically try to finish it as fast as possible, get to the end, record parts of it, and just kind of get a full idea of what the new world is like. We know it's 10 levels, so it's going to be, a little longer of a world, but I feel like Chrysalis was 2 parts, so I feel like it's not going to be as long as that because it's not 2 parts, it's just like 1 part with Polaris. So what I'm going to be doing in this video is going over the stats that I'll be using in the test realm. Now, last night they announced on Wizard's Twitter that they were doing maintenance, so everyone kind of decided that that was them doing the character copies. So before they actually had the maintenance, Blue and I kind of went ham getting all of our stuff prepared, all of our stats ready. I think my stats were pretty much ready, but also getting our decks ready for it. And basically just kind of making everything perfect so that when test room does happen, all of our stuff is already copied over how we want it, and we'll be ready to go. So I'm just going to quickly go over my Storm stats, what I'll be using in the test realm to be able to go through it fairly quickly. So there's the health, 4,300 for a Storm, and I'm up to 128 damage. Now let me see what wand I have on right now. Yeah, that is with the Fortune Teller's Eternal Gaze. That's I'll most likely be using for a lot of the battles. However, I will switch to the Jack Hallow's Whaler if we're just going up against regular mobs, because getting crit through, the crit through on mobs is just a lot faster because they don't have as much health as a boss. And then with the boss, I also want some block, so I'll be using this on that, because once I have the Fortune Teller's Eternal Gaze on, my block does go up to 313. So that's pretty good for going into the new world. I think over 300 block is perfectly fine. So 128 damage. If I put on Jack Hallow's Whaler, it goes down to 120, which is still fine. And then 34 resist, 54 accuracy. Now, I just brought this up to 54 after I socketed the 10% storm accuracy into the deck that I use. I used to have a power pip jewel in this, but then I decided that I really didn't need it because I was looking at my power pips and I'm like, I already have 103% with all my gear and stuff, because the master gear, I'm pretty sure, gives a lot of power pip. So yeah, that easily puts you over 100% with this gear as Storm. So really a 10%, or I think it's 9% on the power pip jewel is pretty useless for me because I'm already over 100%. So I'm like, you know what, let's put on accuracy because I don't have any other decks crafted for Storm, so I just use the triangle accuracy jewel for that, and it's up to 54%. That's basically 124 percentage for Storm, which is good. And yeah, we'll be using that for test room when it comes out. So 529 crit, that's 98% chance. And let me see what it is when I put on the Jack Hallow's. We'll compare that. 637, 121%. So the Jack Hallow's Whaler gives 23% extra crit. That's kind of crazy. I'll only be using this on mobs because 198 block I feel like is not high enough for the new world, so I won't be using it all the time. But that is what I'll be using on just regular mobs. I'm going to do that quickly. I also stitched it to the new Amethyst Hammer, Storm Hammer. I mean, it makes sense. What else do we have? 30 Pierce. I could have 3% more if I had the jewel, which I don't, so that's fine. We'll 30%, or yeah, 30% Pierce is still fine. 103 power pip we already went over, shadow pip, and then 5% stun because I have a jewel, and then 32% incoming. So individual pieces of gear, just using the whole Malister set, because even though I have all of the Crocotopia, I think I actually put the Crocotopia hat in my bank, but I do have the Crocotopia hat and the Rattlebones robe, but for Storm it's just not better. It's just strictly worse. We are just going to be using the Malister gear, which I'm sure everyone is familiar with on what that is, because it's just super good for Storm. And then what else do we have? We already went over this. Fortune Teller's Eternal Gaze for the crit and block. Mostly the block. Actually, mostly the block and the 8% damage. The 8% damage makes a big difference. Theme, we are using the Dragon's Talon. Basically has, basically the stats on this I think are just the best compared to the Shadow Palace Blade. I just like it better. And then of course I have all the sockets that you could imagine that you could ever want on a Storm theme here. So we're gonna be using that. We have Morgant's amulets with the socketed stun resist that I'll be using, and then the Alpha and Omega ring I use because it just gives a lot of, well, one, the block is good, and then two, the 10% damage is like mid-range. I do have the Aphrodite Ring, but it's basically only for crit. I don't really need that. I did have the Night Orb's Ring of Havoc, but it doesn't have as many sockets. It doesn't have a circle socket, and it does have 3% extra damage, but that's not worth it because you lose block. And then, what else? Stormel's Terror Ring. I used to use this, but I still just think the Alpha and Omega Ring is just amazing compared to all these, mostly because of the block. So I feel like there will be an upgrade on the ring, maybe a theme, I don't know. Since I already have all this socketed on the theme, I don't know if it'll be worth it, but we'll just have to see what the gear pieces are in Polaris. Like, who knows? Sparky, everyone's familiar with Sparky with his triple damage, triple crit. That is pretty good for PvE, which is what I basically solely use him for. And then I'll also be using the Crystal Unicorn permanent mount, 2% accuracy on that, and I dyed it this awesome color, basically to fit my gear. And yeah, I think we're pretty much set for Polaris. So, oh, one thing to go over, I did set my deck. I think this is my base deck that I'll be using with all these few blades, a couple sharpens, some galvanic. I like throwing in galvanic, and then bugs or sirens, whichever one comes first. I guess Tempest is the last resort, but if I have 9 pips and I don't have Shadow Pip, I use Sirens. If I do have a Shadow Pip, instant bugs. So what else? I did set a bunch of spells too, so I have these on my side. Yeah, this is just basically my default Storm deck for anything, and then I'll throw in extra stuff if we go up against a boss that I think I need it for. So that is probably going to do it for this test roam. It's either going to come out today, which is, it's iffy if it comes out today. I don't know. We're going to have to see. But if not today, then tomorrow seems pretty likely for it. So who knows when it's actually going to come out. We're just going to have to wait and see. But if you guys are excited for Polaris, make sure to leave a like on this video. Be subscribed to my channel so you know when all those Polaris videos are going to go up. Hopefully this week. And other than that, hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you all next time.